Hi guys, I'm Dr. Varun, and in today's video I'm going to be talking you through 5 key ideas and concepts that you can adopt right now to try and improve your social anxiety. And if you haven't already done so, please don't forget to subscribe, as I'll be bringing out more videos on anything to do with mental health and positive well-being. But with that said, let's crack on with today's video. So let's start by putting ourselves in the scenario of a party where you're meeting people probably for the first time. Now, key concept number 1 is that social anxiety is actually really common. In the UK alone, it affects around about 10% of adults. So this equates to around about 5 million people. Now, the way you can use this to your advantage is by making sure that you don't always assume that everyone else in the world is super confident. And actually, there is a fair chance that you may well end up meeting someone who suffers from exactly the same as you. So it's always important to have this awareness. Point number 2 is not defining or branding ourselves by the emotions that we feel. Now, this is a concept that comes from mindfulness, and mindfulness helps us understand that feelings and emotions are things that come and go. They affect everyone, and we are not defined by them. Now, this may seem like a bit of a technicality, but saying that you are feeling anxious or that you are an anxious person are very different things and can make you judge yourself a little bit more than you really should. After all, it's completely normal for people to feel emotions like anxiety, and so normalizing that whole concept can help you improve when it comes to social situations. Now, point number 3 is that the anticipation of a social event is often far worse than what you actually experience in practice. But the mind is really, really good at putting away those semi-positive experiences that you might experience and then reverting to type. So going back to that place where you're feeling quite anxious and intimidated about the next social event. So a really good tactic is to write down your experiences, almost a bit like a diary, so you can revert back to them the next time you have a social situation that you need to go to. If you're looking back at positive notes that you've written down, that's likely to have a positive effect for your next experience. So that's a really good practical tip that you can take forward. Point number 4 is that actually it's not as important to be interesting as it is to be interested in the other person that you're talking to. Now, although clearly it would be a bonus to have something really interesting to say all the time, it's far more important to be engaging in the other person that you're talking to. So try and switch the emotions around. Instead of being in that position where you're worried about how you're standing, how you might look, what you're about to say, try and listen to what the other person is actually trying to tell you, trying to switch the emotions around, try and think about what emotions they may be feeling when they're talking to you. After all, the best way to try and connect with someone is actually on an emotional level. So if you can try and achieve this, this will help to try and overcome any social anxieties that you might have in the future. Switch the attention from yourself to the other person. And finally, point number 5, which is probably the most important of all, is to face your fears. Try and put yourself in as many social situations as you can so that you become more and more comfortable with them. Now, I think it's fair to say that if you're sitting at home and not meeting people for a long period of time, that thought of meeting people the next time just gets bigger and more intimidating. However, if you're meeting people regularly, let's say every week, then you're in a position where you're exposing yourself to people, and the chances are that it's going to get less and less intimidating with time. Now, if you took me making these videos as an example, now it's a little bit out of my comfort zone. I'm used to talking to people one-on-one in my clinic, which is a lot more comfortable than what I've been trained to do. Then if you were to give me any advice, if I said to you I was feeling a little bit anxious, it would probably be, listen, just make a little bit more, do them more regularly, and the chances are with time, things will get better. Now, if you can apply the same logic to yourself, then I think you're in a good place to try and overcome any social anxieties that you may have. Now, I hope that's helped a few people out there. Please don't forget to leave your comments down below about your experiences and what you think about the tips I've given you today. Please don't forget to like the video and obviously subscribe, as I'll be bringing out more videos on anything to do with mental health. And in the meantime, I'll see you soon.